What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of This Week in Tigers Baseball. And it was another brutal week. And, someone asked me the other day, when you're watching this team every day, how do you cope with all the losing you saw recently? 10 and 20 in the last 30 games. And I just beat my wife. That's what I do. I just come home and just beat the crap out of her, kick the dog, punish the kids. And just a great job on Brad Ausmus's part to you lose a laugher, and at that point they were 9 and 21 in their last 30 games, and what does he do? He goes out and says to the media, with all those people standing around there, that he beats his wife. Now, it was a joke, and he apologized right after the fact. I mean, he knew he had fucked up as soon as he said that. He knew it, and God, I feel bad for Brad Ausmus because he was just constantly tripping over that comment for a day and a half. He apologized again yesterday, again for it. And people need to just lay off the guy. I know what he said wasn't good, and I know it was a bonehead move. I mean, but these people that are chastising him, and these people that are giving him shit for saying this comments, are the same people that would probably say it in a room of a group of friends, among guys. You're having a beer, but I get why people are mad. I mean, he is the manager of the Tigers, and you shouldn't be saying things like this, especially in front of the media. But cut the guy some slack, man. And now I'm already hearing people like when Ozzie Guillen had that article where he said he loved Fidel Castro. I'm hearing people like, oh, Brad Ausmus needs to be fired, he needs to be suspended. Bring back Jim Leland. And that was a point I wanted to touch on. Over the last 2 years, I was a really big Jim Leland advocate, saying that people did not give him enough credit for the amount of success that he had with this Tigers team in a 3-year stretch. 3 division titles, he had 2 ALCS appearances, 3 ALCS appearances, 2 World Series appearances. He's probably the greatest Tigers manager yet, and the most success ever by a Tigers manager, most consistent winning Tiger teams. And people said that he was a big problem while the Tigers collapsed. They always got off to slow starts. Well, all you Leland haters out there, Ausmus, I was preaching he's the savior when they're 27 and 12, and now that they're sitting a half game out in second place, and they're only 5 games of 500. Where's the problem now? But we're gonna touch on the Tigers' struggles here a little bit. Let's jump into this past series in Minnesota. Game 1, the Tigers are coming off a complete game shutout by Max Scherzer, and what happens? They get shut out. Drew Smyly goes 6 strong innings while giving up a single earned run. He had a really, really nice start. Kyle Gibson looked great this game. Nice, nasty sinker on that kid. He throws a hard sinker too. He looked really good. Not much to talk about this game. Basically, but Eduardo Escobar pretty much was the story of the Twins' offense this game. He had a homer and basically a bases loaded walk, and that was pretty much it. 2-0. Very forgettable game, and just a day after Max Scherzer throws a complete game shutout, the Tigers could shut out. How about that, right? And then we move on to game 2, which was, the Tigers' offense exploded this game. It was 10-1 at one point in this game. Anibal Sanchez threw 6 1/3 innings of 3-earned run baseball. It looked good again. But I mean, the Tigers' offense could do no wrong this game. Eugenio Suarez was a single away from hitting for the cycle, and he would have been the first Tigers rookie to do that since Vic Wirt in 1957, I think is what it was the last Tiger rookie to do it. But he just fell short. He had his best game of his career. Victor Martinez was actually, I think, a triple short of the cycle this game. But the real story in this game is the bullpen. We were up 10-1 at one point, and the Twins ended up making it 12-9. I mean, they had to start using some of their best relievers. This game should have been a game where no Joe Nathan, no Al Albuquerque, no Java Chamberlain. It should have been a Corey Knebel game where he comes out, throws a couple of innings, but no, they couldn't throw strikes. They're walking a boatload of hitters. I think Al Albuquerque, how many runs did Al Albuquerque give up this game? Al Albuquerque gave up, or Phil Coke gave up 3 runs. Evan Reed, who got DFA'd, gave up a run. Ian Kroll, who got the save this game because he gave up a home run to Brian Dozier, which was an absolute moonshot, by the way. I mean, I don't even know why. I think Rajah Davis was playing left this game. no, JD Martinez was. He didn't even move. I mean, it was one of the hardest hit balls. I mean, it was a missile. But I mean, it was a pathetic outing on the bullpen's part. Again, the bullpen just not getting it done. You know, just for the fact that you had a 10-run lead and a 9-run lead, and you make it a 12-9 game, just not good. And then the last game, the Tigers won it 3-4. Ricky P was on the mound, pitched a very solid game, nice bounce back game, 3 earned runs over 7 innings, 4 strikeouts. JD Martinez had another nice game. Victor Martinez still continued to be hot. Ricky Nolasco didn't get hit too bad. Get 3 runs over 5 innings, so he looked pretty good. Tigers won this one 4-3. Joe Nathan came on and surrendered a couple of hits, but still locked down the game. And then we move on to Game 1 with the Royals. The Royals came in for a 4-game set, nipping right on the heels of the Tigers. If they won a couple of games this series, they were trying to come in to overtake first place. Well, that's what they did. They ended up taking the first 3. Game 1, Justin Verlander comes out, gets absolutely shelled again. Justin Verlander coming in this season had 3 starts, or 6 starts. My mistake. He had 3 starts in his entire career of 6 runs or 11 hits or more in a game. Well, after this season, he has a total of 6. 3 of them have come this year alone. That's how bad he's been getting hit up. And I was reading an article on Bless You Boys, which is an SB affiliation, a Tigers page on SB Nation, which is affiliation for the Detroit Tigers. And this guy was taking a closer look at Justin Verlander's stuff over the last few years. A lot of Verlander keeps saying it's mechanical. Well, there's a thing called Brooks Baseball where there's a thing called Pitch FX where it shows you every pitch. It's like mapped and charted on table, so you can see the release point, you can see the movement, vertical movement, in and out movement, all that stuff, average velocity. And Verlander's release point, you compared him to 2011 release points, and this year the release points are almost identical. He looked at line drive rates, fly ball rates, ground ball rates. I mean, there's very minimal change in any of those rates to really, justify why he's been getting it up so much. The command of his fastball is almost nearly identical to where it was when he was winning this, in 2012 and 2011 when he was at his peak of dominance. The only real difference is his changeup is getting absolutely murdered this year. Guys are really teeing off on his changeup. The swing and miss rate on that has gone way down. The curveball, the average slash line off that's gone up some. But as for his velocity this year is already at its highest point as it was at last year for average fastball velo. It's already at like 94.8 over his last 6 starts, I think is what the split was. So, I mean, he's looked – the velocity's been there, but it's pretty much the only real difference is just the secondary pitches getting hit up. That's been about the only difference because, he keeps saying it's mechanics, it's toying, tinkering with stuff, but the velo's there. The fastball command is there according to the statistics. The only real difference is the command with off-speed stuff. It's been the only difference in, Verlander's stuff. I mean, it's perplexing to look at how close, his secondary stats are and really diving deep into some of these, real nitty-gritty things. And you look at numbers from 2011 and 2012, and you look at this year's, I mean, how close they really are. I mean, they're only off by a few percentages. I mean, it just scratches your head, like, how is this guy getting hit up? JD Martinez had a grand slam in this game, so it's the only reason why it was even 11-8. It was a laugher. And then the Tigers come out, and Max Scherzer gets shelled. He gives up 10 earned runs and boosts his ERA to 3.84 in the season. So outstanding start by his part. He ended up giving up 7 runs in the second inning alone. I ended up turning this game off in the 5th because it was so hard to watch. So all I know is that Blaine Hardy made his debut, and that kid, man, he has I don't know how left-handers can hit him, and he's going to be really deceptive against right-handers too, because when he throws and he sets and he comes to throw the ball, when he sets, he has like this hitch, where almost like he stops and then just chucks it. And he throws the curveball and fastball to the identical arm slot. So I can only imagine if you're a lefty how deceptive that is. And then if you're a righty, try to sit on like a curveball fastball, like throws it. I mean, it's super deceptive. It's a really nice sharp overhand break curveball. Has good velo on the fastball at 94, 95. So I mean, he looked really good. He pitched a couple of nice scoreless innings already in his debut. I already think he struck out 5. I mean, he's got a real deceptive arm. That hitch with his arm, it's real deceptive, and I really like what I saw. Like I said, this game was a laugher, it was a joke, and this is the game that the Royals actually overtook first place. And then Drew Smyly went up against Jeremy Guthrie, who was just striking out everyone and anyone. Guthrie had 9 strikeouts over 6 2/3 innings. JD Martinez had another home run, and so JD Martinez, man, had a nice series, and I've been pressing this for the last month. Go back and watch some of my videos where I talk about JD Martinez. I've been saying this. He needs to start seeing more starting time. This is unlike Matt Tuiasosopo, unlike Quittenberry, to where Tuiasosopo was hitting right-handers good, and Quittenberry, got really hot and he slumped off, and then he can't hit anything. JD Martinez is the real deal. He's playing league average defense in both corner positions. He's got more speed than Torrey Hunter. He's a better outfielder than Torrey Hunter. He's getting on base at a better clip than Torrey Hunter. He's got more extra base pop than Torrey Hunter. That's the one thing I've really liked about JD Martinez. Even when he strikes out a little bit, he has really good extra base pop. And he would have had like 13 hits this series if it wasn't for Gerard Dyson and Alex Gordon absolutely robbing him. But he put 3 balls in the seats. He had an absolutely outstanding series, and this kid's extra base pop is legit. I was reading an article on Fangraphs the other day about his evolution, and they in the winter leagues this past year about how they fixed his swing, and it's amazing to see how his swing paths changed to such a better. A more crisp swing to the ball, how he adjusted his adjusted his lower half so his bat angle would be a lot better. And, he flipped one the opposite way. He's just not hitting pull shots, monster shots. He's hitting opposite field shots, too. Just showing legit power to all fields, going gap to gap, left to right, line to line. I think the Tigers really legit have something here in JD Martinez. I know it's really hard to put too much stock in this because we saw Tuiasosopo last year and we saw Quittenberry the year before. Guys have really good first halves and stop off in the second half. You don't become. Tuiasosopo and Berry were just cast-offs. JD Martinez at one time was a top 5 prospect in the Astros system. The problem was that he couldn't stay healthy and he was striking out a lot. Now he's got his swing fixed. You could see why there was a lot to like about this kid. He's a league average defender right now according to his defensive metrics. The extra base power he has, he actually hit the longest home run at Comerica Park 2 years ago. It was like 481 feet. It was a moonshot. And just like he has a little bit of speed. He will strike out some. He doesn't walk a boatload, but I really like what they got here, and I think JD Martinez could be a potential replacement if he keeps playing like this for Torrey Hunter come next year when Torrey Hunter hopefully leaves, because he's been absolutely terrible this year. And then the Kansas City Royals ended up taking a 1.5 lead on the Tigers, and then the Tigers come back in the last game of the series. Anibal Sanchez throws another gem. He's been the best pitcher on the Tigers the last 2 years. I don't care what Max Scherzer did last year. I don't care if he was 20-3. I don't care about what the secondary stats say. Anibal Sanchez, compare his F-WAR, his pitcher's WAR, compare his FIP, compare his ERA, look at his WHIP, look at the strikeout ratio, look at walks, hits per nine. Anibal Sanchez last year was just as good as Max Scherzer. The only reason why he didn't get more love is because he missed 3 starts. And if he wouldn't have missed those 3 starts, I would have taken Anibal Sanchez over Max Scherzer for Cy Young. I've been saying this for a year and a half. Anibal Sanchez is the best pitcher on the Tigers. And he's been one of the best signings Dombrowski's ever had so far. 2 years in, he's got a 2.33 ERA. Last year he won the AL ERA crown. He's been so damn good. It's not even funny. He's been the stopper because Verlander hasn't been it this year. Max Scherzer has had one good start in his last 6 starts. He's been getting lit up. Sanchez has been that stopper, and he's done a damn good job of it. And he's just looked absolutely outstanding. And JD Martinez had another home run this game. So people need to start jumping on that JD Martinez bandwagon. That's all I'm just saying. He's been really, really good. But, still the same problems. Nathan had to save that game, and it was the best inning I saw Nathan throw as a Tiger. He was hitting the fastball velo was sitting at 94. Threw some curveballs this time because I haven't seen him throw many curveballs. Some quality sliders. That's been the thing since Nathan doesn't throw 97, 98 anymore. He relies a lot on his secondary stuff now. And, he hasn't been striking out many guys at all. He's actually got his lowest strikeout rate of his career right now since 2000. And, it's real quality sliders, outside part of the plate. He got a lot of check swing misses, just quality location with the pitches and whatnot. The good curveball, the fastball velo was sitting at 94 on the corners. He was getting it right where Brian Hunter wanted it. It was the best thing I've ever saw him throw as a Tiger, and hopefully he can repeat that because they need him. Because the backing, Jaba's done nothing but lights out work. Nathan, has just been a mess. Ian Kroll, up until giving up that homer to Brian Dozier, has done nice work. But Al Albuquerque, he's been getting hit up a little bit. Phil Koch is Phil Koch. Hopefully Hanrahan comes up soon because we need him in the bullpen for sure because this bullpen's still very inconsistent. Hanrahan, I think, is getting close to facing live hitters, so probably another 3 to 4 weeks away for him. But, they need some bullpen help desperately. This team's offense has been extremely inconsistent. I mean, they had 10 runs that one game, and I think they had like 10 runs in their last 5 games combined before that. It wasn't good at all. Their starting rotation is still struggling, which was supposed to be their strong point. Scherzer's, had one good start in his last 6 starts. Verlander's ERA is like over 8 in his last 7 starts. Porcello, his ERA is probably touching 5 in his last, 5 or 6 starts. And Smiley, he had 2 consecutive nice starts in a row, but Sanchez has been the rock. They aren't playing that good at defense right now either. It's just a lot wrong with this team, and Kansas City came in at a perfect time. Last year when Kansas City got hot, the Tigers won 11 straight, and sort of Cleveland. They won 12 or 11 straight. And KC made up like a game and a half in the standings, even though they won like 15 of 20. It was something nuts like that. This time they come through, and they're getting hot. And this is actually the latest that the Royals have ever actually been in first place coming into the month of June since 2003. So, they got hot at the perfect time. Tigers playing some of the worst baseball of the year, 10 and 20 in their last 30 games, and the Royals won 9-10 straight. So they came in at the perfect time. But this team, hopefully with that win yesterday, with a good performance from Nathan, nice lockdown performance by Jabba the entire year, battle back to win a game they had to win. Maybe that'll get some momentum started because they play tonight. They're back in Cleveland for a nice road trip. They start Porcello against Corey Kluber, who's done very good work. Corey Kluber's been extremely underrated. He's one of the most underrated starters in the AL this year. 3.35 ERA, 108 strikeouts, 1.26 WHIP. He's been really nice. JV up against Trevor Bauer. I really like Trevor Bauer. It's going to be a nice game to watch. Hopefully Verlander can bounce back. Max Scherzer up against Justin Tomlin. To complete the series, and then we head off to Texas where Drew Smiley goes up against Colby Lewis, Anibal Sanchez goes up against Tepish, and then Porcello against Saunders, Verlander, and then we head off to Houston to end the week. Verlander goes up against Brad Peacock. So another bad week of baseball. We saw more blowouts against the Tigers. Saw a blowout game nearly. The Tigers nearly lost the game. They were blowing out a team. More bad bullpen pitching, more struggling with the starters, and basically, highlight of the week is Brad Osmusanya beats his wife. So that's how you know it's been a slow week for Tigers baseball, not a good one. So that's all I got for you guys today. Go Tigers. Hopefully we can get something started here.